Now, I will present to you about a beautiful province, Anza. Let's get it started with a little questions. What is Anza? Before we answer this question, let's take a look on the screen. Right here, as you can see, is a geographic map of Anza. Anza is a province that exists on the Mekong Delta, bordered with Cambodia, and it is the economy center between three cities, which are Cần Thơ, Ho Chi Minh City, are actually called Saigon, and Phnom Penh. And it is also the capital of Cambodia. It has over about 100 years of history and developments, and going along with that is a huge variety about culture, cuisines, and nature. This picture right here is about a monument called El Bate. It is what remains left from an empire in history called Hunan. Right here is a very interesting festival of the countryside of Anza province called the Bull Racing Festival. And these two pictures below is about a festival called Akambuk. A very interesting festivals of a Khmer ethnic groups lives in Anza province. So first, let's get started with play. Now, I would like to introduce to you about place to visit. So let's get started with the Vong Temple. This is the place to worship the president of Vietnam after President Ho Chi Minh, which is Mr. Tôn Đức Thắng. When you enter the temple, the first thing you see is a very big altar of Mr. Tôn Đức Thắng. You can give it an incense to pay respect to him. And when you go to the other room, you can find a lot of pictures and artifacts about a career and life of Mr. Tôn Đức Thắng. Next up, let's talk about the Sand Mountain. Many people call the mountain Sand, which means horseshoe crab, and crab in Vietnamese. It is because there was a legend said that the mountain was grown from a pair of horseshoe crab. So there are exactly two ways that you can get to the top of the mountain. You can go following the stone stair, or you can take a trip on a swing. Usually a trip on a swing will only take you about 40,000 dongs. Or if you don't want to spend money on a trip on a swing, then you can choose a stone stair. It may be a little as hard, but once when you get to the top of the mountain, you will be able to have a view to Châu Đốc City. Alright, now next up, let's talk about Phúc Địa Pagoda. Right on the Sand Mountain, there's a very beautiful pagoda called Phúc Địa Pagoda. The pagoda has a Chinese architectural style, and inside this cave has a very big cave that would take you to the higher floor of the pagoda, and that is why many people call it the Cave Mountain. Now, next up, let's talk about the Trang Ta Su mangrove forest. In here, you can take a trip on a boat around the water and have a good time, enjoying the nature, the beauty of the nature in here. And not only that, there are also many places for you to take beautiful pictures of yourself. Like this girl right here is standing on a bridge. As you can see, let's take a look. Beautiful, right? Now, the last place I would like to talk about is the Holy Mother of Round Temple. The Round Temple. This is the place to worship a very special character. Now, this is that special character, the Mother of the Realm. Many people believe that she is very sacred. So, So every year, when the Chinese New Year's come, people from the other regions will come here to wish for luck and happiness and for health, and then health. The second thing is about Anzac province I would like to introduce to you is about cuisine. So the cuisine of Anzac province has been affected by the cuisines from many other regions and countries like China, Taiwan, Malaysia, etc. In Anzac province, you can find a lot of food that has a very unique flavor that you would never find the same thing in anywhere else. So firstly, let's get started with cơm tấm. Cơm tấm is an overrated and famous food that it was known all over the world. In this picture, you can see it has roast pork, it has boiled eggs sometimes, and pickled vegetables. And the most important part of this dish, of course, is the rice. People eat it with this sauce. Next up, let's talk about the Vietnamese star soup. The Vietnamese star soup is a perfect, delicate combination of the sweet, sour, and savory. It has the tartness, comes from tamarind or pineapples, which gets melted out by the sweetness comes from the palm sugar and the soft, rich, and delicious of the fish. Now, the last one I would like to present to you is hum. In this picture right here, you can see there are many types of hum. Depends on the kind of fish that they use to make it. You can eat it for instance, or you can also use it as an ingredient for cooking. In the last part, I will tell you some of my methods that we can do to make Anzac a better place in the future. There are many things that a local authority could have done to improve the landscape, the economy, and the tourism of Anzac province. So, the first thing we can do is to build more amusement park, like Disneyland or anything like that, so we can give the tourists a reason to stay in here for longer. The next thing we can do is to build more hotels. There are many tourists, they really want to have a place to stay overnight, so I think build more hotels is also a good idea. So, Anzac is a developing province. There are many big companies from the other countries want to invest into this area. So, what we can do is to cooperate with big companies, so we can together get the best resource for Anzac province. We can get more jobs for the poor people. And we can also together offer more service for the tourists, like bus tour, restaurants, etc. And another thing we can do is we can invest to develop our traditional job. Like for example, like in TRảo town, we have a traditional job is silk making. It's a silk making, or as we call it, the loại Mỹ. One of the things we can do is that we can open a tour for tourists to have an experience to become a silk maker and a maker for a day in Anzac and province. So the tourists can understand how does the TRảo town silk or loại Mỹ are made. Yeah, and that is all. Thank you for listening.